لقد من الله على المؤمنين إذ بعث فيهم رسولا من أنفسهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين.
نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا ومولانا محمد رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الحنين الكريم الرؤوف الرحيم. أما بعد، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear students and audience, Alhamdulillah Ta'ala, I would like to explain that this concept is so misunderstood and misused that no other concept was misused that much. Not only now, in our present times, not only in present times, the same crime, this was done in the old ancient times too, in the beginning of Islamic history. This misconception, wrong application, misuse, and to make the people mushrik and kafirs, this is very old practice. And Holy Prophet ﷺ condemned this practice from the very beginning. So whatever is being done here in London, in UK and Western world, just violating the Sharia concepts, misguiding the people, wrongly applying the Tawheed concepts and Islamic concepts and verses, misusing the verses of Holy Quran, issuing wrong degrees and wrong fatwas, and creating distortion in Sharia and aqa'id and aqidah and Islamic concepts. This is not a thing which has been started now. It was used by Khawarij in the beginning. This is the Khariji way of interpreting Islam. The Khariji way of interpreting Islam. The first sect which came out of Islamic Ummah, the first deviating sect, who deviated, the first people who deviated first time from the mainstream of Islam, mainstream of Sunnah, they were Khawarij. That's why Khawarij were known, that they went outside the Islamic ambit or orbit of Islam, the basic outline of Islamic teachings. Kharij, they went away, they went outside Islamic limitations. They were Khawarij, but it doesn't mean that they were not using the name of Islam and Quran. They were declaring other people as sinful and mushriks. And they were claiming to be great muwahhids. And so it is, I am quoting you Sahih Bukhari. This is Sahih Bukhari. And Bab Qatl al-Khawarij wal-Mulhideen. This Bab is after the Bab of Hukmul Murtad war Murtada. First of all, Imam Bukhari has fixed the Bab Hukmul Murtad, the apostates. And after the apostates, the same is continuing. Istitabatul Murtaddin wal Mu'anidin. This is the whole chapter. Kitab Istitabatul Murtaddin, Sahih Bukhari, Kitab Istitabatul Murtaddin wal Mu'anidin wa Qitalib. And then their chapter of Hukm of Murtad, and this is the chapter, fifth chapter of this book, Istitabatul Murtaddin. I can quote you the English book reference also. This is the book of obliging the reverters from Islam. Obliging the reverters from Islam. Sahih Bukhari, this is the book in Sahih Bukhari. The book of obliging the reverters from Islam. Then this is its fifth chapter. There is about Khawarij and Mulhideen. And as Abdullah bin Umar says, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Imam Bukhari has quoted about Abdullah bin Umar's practice. Imam Bukhari says, Kana ibn Umara yarahum shirara khalqillah. He says that Ibn Umar used to consider them, whom? The Khawarij and Mulhideen, the Khawarij, the worst of Allah's creatures. Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar, the son of Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab, used to consider them the worst of Allah's creatures. This is what Imam Bukhari is telling. Why? Why he used to consider the Khawarij the worst of creatures? Were they not praying? They were praying. They were reciting Holy Quran. They were performing all religious acts and faraid and sunnah. And they were more strong. They were stronger than anybody else in recitation of Holy Quran, in praying, in fasting, and performing other Sharia acts. They were sound and profound than anybody else. In spite of this fact, he used to consider these Khawarij the worst of Allah's creatures. Why? Then the reason which he has quoted, Qala innahum talaqu ila ayatin nazalat fil kuffar faja'aluha alal mu'minin. The reason is, Imam Bukhari says that these people took some verses of Holy Quran that had been revealed concerning the disbelievers. They used to take some verses of Holy Quran which were revealed for disbelievers, for kuffar, concerning the disbelievers, and interpreted them as describing the believers. So they used to extend them wrongly to believers. They used to extend them wrongly. They used to apply their hukm and their meanings wrongly on believers. So all those verses which were revealed to condemn shirk and condemn kufr in connection of disbelievers and the mushrikeen and kuffar, they used to take and pick up those verses and they used to apply them on mu'mineen and awliya and sahaba and tabi'een and ahlullah and salihin, on mu'mineen, and say this, you say this is shirk and they are mushrikeen, this is kufr and they are kafireen. So whatever was revealed about disbelievers, they used to take and put and apply on the believers. The same is being done now. For this particular act, they were so much condemned that Abdullah bin Umar, a companion of Holy Prophet ﷺ and Mufassir and Muhaddis among the companions, according to Imam Bukhari, used to consider them the worst creatures of Allah. He condemned them. Hadith number 6531. from this number of Sahih Bukhari. This is number of a continuing number of continuing numbers of hadith from Sahih Bukhari. What is the number? 6,531, just right. Then next another hadith, 6,532. Next hadith, 6,533. Again next one, 6,534. Again next one, 6,535. Can you bring the same from Muslim and Tirmidhi? Chalo, chunki we will see all Muslims and Tirmidhi, many other books, but since I have quoted this hadith from Bukhari, so I wanted to finish the chapter because it was already there in front of me. All these ahadith starting from 6,531, number 31 to 6,535, all these ahadith tell. Holy Prophet ﷺ stated, سَيَخْرُجُ قَوْمٌ فِي آخِرِ الزَّمَانِ أَحْدَاثُ الْأَسْنَانِ سُفَهَاءُ الْأَحْلَامِ يَقُولُونَ مِنْ خَيْرِ قَوْلِ الْبَرِيَّةِ لَا يُجَاوِزُ إِيمَانُهُمْ حَنَاجِرَهُمْ وَيَمْرُقُونَ مِنَ الدِّينِ كَمَا يَمْرُقُ السَّهْمُ مِنَ الرَّمِيَّةِ. And this hadith is quoted, narrated by Sayyidina Ali. Next hadith, 6,532, narrated by Abu Sa'id Khudri. Abu Sa'id Khudri. Write down the number, hadith number 6,532 hadith. And the narrator is Sayyidina Abu Sa'id Khudri. An Abi Salama wa Ata bin Yasar. First, the hadith quoted by Sayyidina Ali. Holy Prophet ﷺ stated, I heard Allah's Prophet, Allah's Apostle saying, during the last days, there will appear some young foolish people. And Almighty Allah gave him ghaib, knowledge of ghaib. He mentioned many things which are occurring now, which will occur till the day of judgment, even the minor details. So whenever a thing became a fitna in Holy Prophet's Ummah, he has mentioned in hadith. He said, in the last days, there will appear some young foolish people who will say the best words, to misguide the people, best words from Quran. They will talk of anil hukmu illa lillah. They will talk of man lam yahkum bima anzalallah fa ulaika humul kafirun, man lam yahkum bima anzalallah fa ulaika humuz zalimun, man lam yahkum bima anzalallah fa ulaika humul fasiqun. They will talk of Quran, they will talk of Quranic system, they will talk of enforcement of Islam, they will talk of Ummah and all these things. Holy Prophet said they will say the best words. The word used are yakuluna min khayri qawlil bariyah. The best words of Islam and Quran and Sunnah, they will talk of them. But their faith will not go beyond their throats. They will have no faith of Islam. They will have no iman in them. They will have no faith. They will go out from the ambit of the religion of Islam. They will go out from their religion as an arrow goes out of the game. And now the next hadith, this was hadith number 6,531. No, this was 6,530. Now the next hadith, Holy Prophet has mentioned the name. This is 6,532. This hadith, Hazrat Abi Salma and Hazrat Ata bin Yasar, both of them, they asked one of the senior companions of Holy Prophet ﷺ, and he was Sayyidina Abu Sa'id Khudri. They asked him about Haruriyah, Tahrir. Who would be Tahrir people? They heard sometime this name from Holy Prophet ﷺ, but there will be some Tahrir people. al-Haruriyya. Hur, Tahrir, Haruriyya. They heard. So they asked Sayyidina Abu Sa'id Khudri, who are this Haruriyya? The Tahrir people. Tahrir group. Haruriyya means group of Tahrir. Who is this group of Tahrir? Abu Sa'id Khudri sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, La adri mal Haruriyya. I in fact don't know who is this Tahrir group. He said, I really don't know what is this group of Tahrir. What is Haruriyya? I don't know. But he said, سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول يخرج في هذه الأمة ولم يقل منها. He said, I really don't know who this group is, but I have heard Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, I have heard saying, يخرج في هذه الأمة ولم يقل منها قوم تحقرون صلاتكم مع صلاتهم يقرؤون القرآن لا يجاوز حلوقهم أو حناجرهم يمرقون من الدين مروق السهم من الرمية فينظر الرامي إلى سهمه إلى نسله إلى رصافه يتمارى في الفوقة هل عليك بها من الدم شيء. He said, I don't know who these people are, but I have heard Holy Prophet ﷺ saying that there will appear in this nation, and didn't say from this nation of Islam. He didn't say from this Islamic Ummah. He said in this nation. I don't know what they would be. Whether they would be part of the Islamic Ummah or not, but they would appear. Holy Prophet ﷺ said, a group of people from this nation, didn't say from this nation, in this nation, a group of people. And in first of these he said they would be young, and they would be foolish young. But just you can categorize the characteristics. They would be young, and they would be foolish young. And a group of people so pious apparently they will look pious with these beards and with quite profound and looking sound and profound in Islamic actions and Sunnah, and talking against Bid'ah and talking of Islam and Quran and shouting for Islam apparently. So they will look pious apparently. And then said, so they will look so pious apparently that you will consider your prayers inferior to their prayers. They will pray so regularly. They will pray so regularly that you will consider your prayers inferior to their prayers. But they will recite the Quran, and teachings of which will not go beyond their throats. And they will not behave according to the Quranic teaching. The teachings of Quran will not go beyond their throats, and they will go out of their religion, Islam, as an arrow darts through the game. Whereupon the archer may look at his arrow, its nasl and its risaf and its fuqa. These are various parts of the arrow, the front, the head, beginning, the between and the end. He looks at his arrow, but it has passed out of my target, passed out of the game. But where is the blood? He will try to find the blood on the arrow to see whether it is blood stained or not. They will have no trace of Islam in them. but they will speak of Islam loudly. They will preach apparently, they will look pious. And these Holy Prophet said these young, foolish young people would be Hururi people, Tahriri people. So I have not given any meanings, the exact word which Holy Prophet ﷺ has mentioned in Sahih Bukhari. Next, this hadith which I have mentioned from Sahih Bukhari. Now take the same hadith going out of deen in Islam from Sahih Muslim. So this is muttafaq alayh hadith. Muttafaq alayh. This is Sahih Muslim. Again, it is Kitab al-Zakat, Bab Zikr al-Khawarij wa Sifatihim. Those who will go out of Islam, ambit of Islam, Khawarij. The same hadith narrated by Sayyidina Abu Sa'id Khudri, An Abi Salmata wa Ata bin Yasar, Annahuma Ataya Aba Sayyidin al-Khudri, Fasa'alahu anil Haruriyya. Hal Samiyata Rasulullah sallam yazkuru qala la adri manil Haruriyya. Walakinni Samiyatu Rasulullah yaqul yakhruju fi hadhihi al-ummah. Walam yaqul minha qawmun tahkiruna salatahum. Ila akhir al-hadith. I have already mentioned this detail. This is Sahih Muslim and hadith number is 147. And total hadith, you may write continuous number from Sahih Muslim would be better. 1064, then 65, 66, 67, 68. It becomes 1068. 1068. And the number 147 is hadith number starts from the book Kitab al-Zakat. There are two different numbers. One number of hadith is given which starts from different books, Kitab al-Salat, Kitab al-Zakat, Kitab al-Jihad. Every book in Bukhari Sharif starts with a separate number. And one number continues right from the beginning of Sahih Muslim and Sahih Bukhari. So Sahih Muslim's continuous number I have given, and the number of hadith which starts from Kitab al-Zakat, that number is 147. And this chapter, Babu Zikr al-Khawarij wa Sifatim, chapter number is 47 in Sahih Muslim. Chapter number is 47 in Sahih Muslim. Now the third hadith 6533. This is the number of hadith again of Sahih Bukhari, coming back to Sahih Bukhari, continuous number. Now I am quoting Hazrat Abdullah ibn Umar. First was narrated by Abu Sa'id Khudri. Now it is Haddasani Umar bin Abdullah bin Umar, grandson of Hazrat Umar. He says, Anna Abahu Haddasahu, his father Abdullah bin Umar quoted to him, narrated to him, Anna Abahu Haddasahu an Abdullah ibn Umar. So this is grandson. His father quoted to him, narrated to him from Abdullah bin Umar. And Abdullah bin Umar, son of Hazrat Umar al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, Wazakar al-Haruriyya. He mentioned Haruri people. Tahriri people. Zakar al-Haruriyya. Qala al-Nabiyyu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam yamrukuna min al-Islami muruka sahmi min al-Ramiyya. He said, Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar narrated about al-Haruriyya, al-Tahririyya. The Prophet said, they will go out of Islam as an arrow darts out of the game's body. The same names were used in the beginning, end of the first century. A category, al-Haruriyya, a category. The same name has been used again. Their followers have used the same names. Now again, I am quoting you Sunan Tirmizi, Kitabul Fitan. He mentioned this in Kitabul Fitan. Somebody may say, these Haruriyya and Tahriri people and Haruri people were in the end of the first century and beginning of the second century along with the Khawarij. This is an old story. They were Haruris and we are Tahriris. What difference between Haruri and Tahriri? He never mentioned the year. He never mentioned with his own words the century. He said, Fi akhir zaman. Akhir is in the last days of my ummah. And then he says, foolish youngsters. Number 3, here he mentions, this is Sunan Tirmizi, Kitabul Fitan. So I am giving you the answer of that question, but that this is a wrong application. No. This extension of the same application. Extension of the same application, rather the same application. Here Holy Prophet ﷺ, Imam Tirmizi has brought, I have not done any sin. This is what Imam Tirmizi has done. Imam Bukhari brought it under separate book, Imam Muslim brought it under, reported it under separate book, and Imam Tirmizi reports this hadith under Kitabul Fitan. And Kitabul Fitan deals with the matters which will take place in the end, in the last days of the Islamic history, not in the beginning or the last century. So he takes in Kitabul Fitan, Imam Tirmizi. So this is interpretation of Imam Tirmizi. Now third thing, you understand, every Imam of Hadith reports Hadith in a specific chapter and he makes a chapter. So he has made a chapter, Kitabul Fitan. And you know Kitabul Fitan is in the last days of Islamic history. And there would be 3 periods of fitan, long 3 periods. And we are in the first period of fitan. The first period of fitan has started. This is the first fitan period. So Imam Bukhari reports this hadith in Kitabul Fitan. Before that, for example, because he is talking of the last dates, he has mentioned Mabu ma ja'a fi rafil amana, when honesty will finish, would be raised. Fitna would start. This is Tirmizi Sharif. In Shiqaqul Qamar and Khasaf, the signs of the moon and signs about the suns, in the ends of the Islamic history. And then he says a chapter, Ma ja'a fi tulu shamsi min maghribiha, when sun will rise from west instead of rising from east. So you say all these chapters in Kitabul Fitan are dealing with the signs and things which will take place and which will occur in the end of the Islamic history in the period of Fitan. 3 periods of Fitan. Some things belong to the first period of Fitan, some signs belong and evidences belong to the second period of Fitan, and some signs are related to the third period of Fitan, and that will be the last period of this world. Then there will be Qiyamah. So now this thing clears the confusion that these Haruriya and Haruri people, Tahriri people, are not necessarily to be taken as that particular group which came into existence in the end of 1st century. Imam Tirmizi has mentioned this hadith in Kitabul Fitan, and Kitabul Fitan starts from now. First period of Fitan is starting now. So this is the mentioning of something which is taking place now in our period. And he says Sifatul Mariqah. And he has not mentioned this just for Khawarij. He has mentioned Mariqah, those who will go out of the region of Islam. And he has mentioned 2 groups. Imam Tirmizi has mentioned here the hadith mentioning, specifying 2 groups, al-Khawarij wal-Haruriyya. One group would be Kharijis, other group would be Tahriris. And this is application, this is interpretation of Imam Tirmizi. Imam Tirmizi has given the interpretation this. Chapter is 24 in this book of Fitan. Its chapter number is 24, and he mentions hadith from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, the 3rd reporter of Holy Prophet. Abdullah ibn Masud. First was Sayyidina Ali, the reporter. The second is Abu Sa'id Khudri, and the third Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Qala Rasulullah yakhruju fi akhir zaman. The basic emphasis is on akhir zaman, the last days of my ummah. Now this is matter of application. Some muhaddithin can take akhir zaman means the last days of a first century. But the more appropriate, the more understandable and the more reasonable meaning of akhir zaman can be taken the days of fitan, which we are watching now. In the last days, qawmun ahdasul asnan, the foolish youngs, sufahaul ahlam, the foolish youngs, yakraun al-Quran, reciting Holy Quran, la yujawizu taraqiyahum, don't go beyond their throats, yaquluna min qawli khairil bariyah, talking of the best words of Islam, and all these things. Yamrukuna min ad-deen kama yamruku sahm min ar-ramiyah, the same thing. Now he says Abu Sa'id an Ali, an Abu Sa'id Khudri, and Abu Zar, and the same has been mentioned by Abu Zar also, Abu Zar Ghifari. Imam Abu Isa Tirmidhi says this hadith is hadith hasan sahih, and this is hadith muttafaq alayh. In Bukhari and Muslim this is hadith muttafaq alayh, and in Tirmidhi more than muttafaq alayh. And he says Haisu wasafa, I am quoting the words of Imam Tirmidhi now, interpreting, giving his degree. Imam Tirmidhi has given his fatwa and degree on this hadith. He says, وَقَدْ رُوِيَ فِي غَيْرِ هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ عَنِ النَّبِي. There are many other ahadith from Holy Prophet ﷺ too on the same subject. Then he says, حَيْثُ وَصَفَ هَؤُلَاءِ الْقَوْمِ. He has mentioned the characteristics of this group. يَقْرَؤُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَا يُجَاوِزُ تَرَاقِيَهُمْ يَمْرُقُونَ مِنَ الدِّينِ كَمَا يَمْرُقُ السَّهْمُ مِنَ الرَّمِيَّةِ. Then he says, إِنَّمَا هُوَ الْخَوَارِجِ وَالْحَرُورِيَّةِ. There are two groups. First group is Khawarij, the Kharijis, and second group is Haruris, Tahriris. وَغَيْرُهُمْ مِنَ الْخَوَارِجِ. And these are other than Khawarij. So we have no concern whether these names were used in the end of 1st century or 2nd century or 3rd century or in this 15th century. Holy Prophet has used the word akhir zaman, and Imam Tirmidhi has taken this hadith in Kitabul Fitan. There can be another, the same followers of Khawarij can give their names to themselves, Khawarij, and there are Haruris, their name has been mentioned. And then same this hadith, I have already mentioned various points. One hadith is about Zil Khuwaisara at-Tamimi, and this is narrated by Abu Sa'id Khudri, hadith number 6534, Sahih Bukhari, who said to Holy Prophet when he was dividing the booties of war, the booty of war, mal-e-ghanimat, he was dividing and distributing among the people, among the soldiers. So he said, "I'dil ya Muhammad, O Holy Prophet, be honest and be just." He said, "Be just and distribute it justly. Do justice." He is asking Holy Prophet to do, Maazallah. So when he said, "Qala Umar ibn al-Khattab," he stood up. This is the way one, he is talking of honesty and justice, but nonsense. That is khair al-qala, qawl al-khair al-bariyah. They talk of Islam and good things, but they are nonsense, foolish. They don't know what to say, where to apply, and how to say, how to apply, how to understand. They disconnect the words from their meanings. They disconnect the verses and commandments from their applications. They distort the whole image of Islam. That's why they have said they are. And then he said, Sayyidina Umar stood up and he said, وَقَالَ عُمَرَ بْنُ الْخَطَّابِ بِئْذَنْ لِي فَأَضْرِبَ عُنُقَهُ. Oh, Ya Rasulullah, allow me, I will cut his neck. I will kill him. Holy Prophet ﷺ said, don't kill him. Why? In last days of my ummah, other people are also coming. And they will be known as Muslims like this man. He is Zul Khuwaisara Tamimi. Yani Ja Abdullah bin Zil Khuwaisara at-Tamimi. His name was Abdullah bin Zil Khuwaisara at-Tamimi. This man was Abdullah bin Zil Khuwaisira Swad at-Tamimi. Holy Prophet said, Yakiru ahadukum salatahu ma salatihi. In last days of my ummah, other people are coming from same group. New generations would come. They will also be known as Muslims like these people are. And Yakiru ahadukum salatahu ma salatihi. And you will consider they will be praying, so praying people that you will consider your prayers inferior to their prayers. Wasiyamahu ma siyamihi. And the people of Muslims, they will consider their fastings and fasts inferior to their fastings. They will so fasting people and praying people. Yamrukuna min ad-deen kama yamruku as-sahmu min ar-ramiyya. And they will leave the religion of Islam. They will go out the ambit of Islam. They will go out of Islam. In the same way as an arrow goes out of the game's body, without having any, you can say, a stain of blood on that. Holy Prophet said, Yakhrujuna ala hine furqatin minan nas. Now next chapter is, which Imam Bukhari has taken. This is Hadith 6535. And again it has been narrated by Sahl bin Hunayf. Hazrat Sahl bin Hunayf. The Khawarij, Abu Sa'id Khudri says, the Khawarij were those, he says, I heard this thing from Holy Prophet ﷺ, and I testify that Sayyidina Ali fought with them. Sayyidina Ali fought with them, the Khawarij. Ashhadu anna aliyan qatalahum wa ana ma'ahu. This is about Abu Sa'id Khudri. This is not under the hadith of Hururiya. The next, who said, be just and honest, under that. That disrespectful man, Holy Prophet said, you will find other people in my ummah, the same kind of people. And they were Khawarij. He fought with them. And Sahl bin Hunayf, again the same, Yakulu fil Khawarij. Other hadith is also about the Kharijis. And this is again Sahih Bukhari. Again he mentioned this in Kitabul Fitna. Other hadith in Kitabul Fitna. In Babu Qawl al-Nabi, al-fitnatu min qibal al-mashriq. Al-fitnatu min qibal this fitna will come out of east. This is hadith. Sahih Bukhari. And hadith number is 7094. First of all, 7092. Salim, who was the Prophet's companion, divides. He said, Holy Prophet was delivering a lecture, and he said, I was standing near to Holy Prophet. Holy Prophet said, Faqala al-fitnatu ha-huna. Al-fitnatu ha-huna. The fitna, the disruption, that is there. Disruption, the fitna is there. The fitna is there. He pointed out like this. He said, Min haysu yatlu karru shaitan. And there a group, a satanic group will take rise from that side. A satanic group will take rise from that side. And Abdullah bin Umar, next to the 7093. Same Kitabul Fitan of Sahih Bukhari, 7093. This is reported by Abdullah bin Umar. He says, Anna Sami'a Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa huwa mustaqbilul mashriq. Yaqulu ala innal fitnata hahuna. min haysu yatlu qarnu shaitan. He said, he pointed out towards east. He said, the fitna would be here, there in east. The fitna, the disaster, the distortion, disruption in Islam will come up, will emerge from the east. And this would be a satanic group. Now hadith number 7094. And again this is reported by Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar. He says that Holy Prophet ﷺ once mentioned in his dua, he was praying, he made dua, supplication, and he said, Allahumma barik lana fi shamina. O Allah, bless the people in Sham, in Syria, with your barakah, with your blessings. Shower your blessings on them in Sham. And don't say Syria. Syria, these are the new countries. The word Sham, it includes Syria, it includes Jordan, it includes Palestine, Baitul Maqdis, it includes all these surrounding areas and countries. Or that is known as Ardul Anbiya, up to the Misr, Egypt near. All these Ardul Anbiya, this includes the word Sham. Mulku Sham. He said, O Allah, barik lana fi shamina. Shower your blessing in our Sham. Allahumma barik lana fi yamanina. And shower your blessing in our Yaman. There were some people sitting there in Holy Prophet's majlis, company, and they had come from Najd. They had come from Najd. And they asked, Ya Rasulullah, wafi Najdina, and make dua for our Najd also. Make dua for our, you know where is the Najd? In the district of Riyadh. That is in district of Riyadh, and the whole province is Najd. The whole Riyadh province is Najd. And Makkah, Jeddah and Medina, this province is Hijaz. And the Riyadh whole capital province is Najd. And some of the scholars say that this Najd was a village on the border area of Iraq. And mentioning, this was one of the capital places of Khawarij and Haruris. So some apply to that village on the border area of Iraq, which was the capital place of the Khawarij, Kharijis and Haruris, Tahriris, or Najd of Iraq, whatever may be. You understand the point? Holy Prophet ﷺ said, he said, Wafi Najdina. Holy Prophet again repeated the words of his dua and said, Allahumma barik lana fi shamina. Allahumma barik lana fi yamanina. O Allah, you bless your showers in Sham and bless your showers in Yemen. And he didn't mention Najd. Again that man said, Wafi Najdina. Holy Prophet again said, repeated the word, Salisa, fi shamina wa fi yamanina. O Bari Ta'ala, for our Sham and for our Yemen, we want your blessings. And third time he said, not for Najd. He said for Najd, when he asked, Wafi Najdina, Ya Rasulullah, and say for our Najd also. He replied, said, Hunaka zalazilu wal fitanu wa biha yatlu qarnu shaitan. A big satanic group will emerge from that place. Satanic group will emerge. So the Prophet has mentioned, a big satanic group will emerge from that place. So you see, that thing was also mentioned by Holy Prophet. The fitna of Najd, those who will emerge from there. The fitna of Khawarij and the fitna of Haruris, Tahriris. All fitnas. The fitna of Najdis, Kharijis and Haruris, Tahriris. And again this Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim. Where is, yeah, the chapter, the same chapter, Kitab al-Zakat, Sahih Muslim, and the chapter number 47, the chapter number 47, Babu Zikr al-Khawarij wa Sifatihim, in Sahih Muslim, and hadith number 1064. Hadith number 1064. Holy Prophet ﷺ said about one person who was disrespectful to Holy Prophet ﷺ, who was not upholding the respect, reverence and love for Holy Prophet ﷺ. And the same thing which we have already mentioned, all those hadiths about this. This hadith is narrated by Abu Sa'id Khudri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, and he has mentioned some characteristics, physical characteristics of those people. فَقَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ إِنِّي إِنَّمَا فَعَلْتُ ذَلِكَ لَأَتَأَلَّفَهُمْ فَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ. Holy Prophet explained why I have distributed this booty in this way. Some people have been given more, some are being given lesser. This is the reason. Then he said, فَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ, came the same man, Abdullah bin Zil Khuwaisira at-Tamimi, Kasul Lihya, Mushriful Vajnatayn, Ghairul Aynayn, Nati'ul Jabeen, Mahluqur Ras, Faqala ittaqillah. He said, fear from God. And this hadith of Sahih Muslim, Holy Prophet said, I have done it that I conciliate them, those some people who have newly become Muslims. Then there came a person with thick beard. This is the hadith. Came a person with thick beard, prominent cheeks, raised cheeks. Not prominent, he has used prominent, but his raised cheeks. Raised cheeks. Deep sunken eyes. Deep sunken eyes. And protruding forehead. Protruding. In fact, this is again raised forehead. Raised forehead. This is a word used by the translator, but I would prefer raised forehead. Prominent cheeks and raised forehead and shaven head. Shaven head. I have mentioned this hadith, my book Al-Arba'in fi Fazail al-Nabi al-Amin. This is in Sahih Bukhari. I have taken this hadith from Sahih Bukhari, Kitabul Maghazi. Number 2, just write it quickly. Sahih Bukhari, Kitabul Tawheed. Sahih Bukhari, Kitabul Anbiya. Kitabul Anbiya. 3 times in Bukhari. Sahih Muslim, Kitabul Zakat. Sunan Abi Dawood, Kitabus Sunnah. Abi Dawood, Kitabus Sunnah. Sunan Nisai, Kitabul Zakat. And Kitabul Muharaba. Again, An-Nisai, Kitabul Muharaba. And then Musnad Ahmad bin Hanbal and Musannaf Abdul Razak and Sunan al-Bayhaqi. And then I have given references from 15 books of hadith, page 106, 107 of my book Hadith Al-Arba'in fi Fazail al-Nabi al-Amin. Hadith number is 85, hadith number 85, and the chapter number 40. interesting, the last characteristic which I have mentioned in all these hadiths is فَقَامَ رَجُلٌ غَائِرُ الْعَيْنَيْنِ مُشْرِفُ الْوَجْنَتَيْنِ نَاشِزُ الْجِبْهَ كَسُّ اللِّحْيَةِ مَحْلُوقُ الرَّأْسِ. These were the 5 things. And the 6th, mushammarul izar. His trousers or whatever, chadar, whatever you say, he was raising quite high, higher than like the mid of the lower legs, up to the mid of the lower legs. He had raised his trousers and the chadar up to the mid of the lower legs, raised that much. Shaven head, this. Next, Sahih Muslim, which I mentioned, hadith 144, 43. Same Sahih Muslim, just I give you the direct reference. Same next hadith, number 144. In Sahih Muslim, number 144 is that hadith which I have given the references of 15 hadith books. So, just to specify the one, in Sahih Muslim, the hadith, next hadith is 144. Here the word mahluqur ras, these are the two main things. Shaven head and mushammirul, mahluqur ras and mushammilur izar. Sunken eyes, prominent cheek bones, elevated forehead, raised or elevated forehead, thick beard, shaven head and tucked up loin cloth. They have translated it. In fact, the raised cloth on his up to the mushammirul izar, it is tashmir of izar. This is from Sahih Muslim. So he had tucked up and he has raised his trousers up to here. These were two main things. This was the man who said, and Holy Prophet then mentioned, Inna min di'di haza qawmun. From his generation, a group will rise up. From this generation, a group will emerge. From his generation, a group will come up in the last days of my ummah. يَقْرَوْنَ الْقُرْآنَ لَا يُجَاوِزُ حَنَاجِرَهُمْ يَقْتُلُونَ أَهْلَ الْإِسْلَامِ. They will try to kill the Muslim people and they will declare them non-Muslims and kafirs. يَدَعُونَ أَهْلَ الْأَوْثَانِ. They will leave the mushriks and mushrikeen. They will just speak against the Muslim ummah and the Muslims, and they will declare them the kuffar and mushrikeen. And their own position would be that they had gone out from the ambit of Islam. This was Muslim, and the same hadith in Sahih Bukhari. Sahih Bukhari, its hadith number is 640 of the chapter. In Sahih Bukhari, the same hadith is narrated by Abu Sa'id Khudri. The same words. Ghairul Ainain 1. Mushriful Vajnatain, Nashizul Jibha, elevated forehead. Kassul Lihya, full beard. Makhluqur Ras, shaven head. Mushammarul Izar, raised and uptucked their clothes. There got up a man with sunken eyes, raised cheekbones, raised forehead and a thick beard, a shaven head and a waist sheet that was tucked up. Mushammirul Izar, that was tucked up. But izar, you know, this is not this chadar, this is trouser or chadar, tucked up. Of Almighty Allah, Allah's Messenger. Then he said the whole hadith which we have already discussed. Abdullah bin Zil Khuwaisri, those who would be disrespectful to Holy Prophet. Another time he mentioned the Kharijis. Sometime he mentions the Najdis, from people coming from Najd. Sometime he mentioned al-Haruris, Haruriyah. But the basic thing is the basic features and basic characteristics and basic prominent qualities which Holy Prophet has mentioned, and a very specific thing that they would be young, foolish, and they would be emerging in the last day of my ummah, of the Islamic history, and they will belong to the period of fitan. You can have the reference of Bukhari Sharif in the Arabic also. The same bab which I mentioned, Kitabul-Maghazi, I have given you the reference. Kitabul-Maghazi in Sahih Bukhari, and hadith number is 4351. 4351. Abu Sa'id Khudri is the reporter. The words Mahluqur Ras Mushammarul Izar, two words are important. Shaven head and raised sheet, tucked up sheet. So we concluded this lecture on this subject, that their qualities. Now next time you just remind me, we will start from Ibn Taymiyyah, the same subject. Then we will proceed on Allama Ibn Taymiyyah's book As-Sarimul Maslul. He has given a full chapter on this subject. How the people used to take the references from Quran and misquote it, misuse it, misapply it, wrongly apply it on mu'mineen and people, and how they were disrespectful to Holy Prophet. And they were always in habit of tracing the verses which can be maazallah wrongly used against the azim status of Holy Prophet, the great status of Holy Prophet. And all these hadiths he has corrected in this one chapter. We will start from this. The basic thing was that this was the thing that they, and now then I will give you the another hadith, how they will claim other people to be kafirs and mushriks. So this is very important to understand. What is tawheed and what is shirk. So we may remove all kind of doubts about the wrong applications and misinterpretations on this subject. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa ma alayna illa al-balagh. طلع البدر علينا